Hi guys, I wanted to do a little lesson about chunking words this week. When I was reading with the kids in guided reading group, I noticed that the kids were doing each individual sound of a word, especially words that are longer than 3 or 4 letters. And with words that are like 3 letters long or maybe 4 letters long, we do have them kind of do those individual sounds like cat, at, and then blend it together to make cat. But once it gets to a longer word, it's kind of hard to do all those individual sounds and blend them together, because by the time they get to that 5th one, they're like, I don't even know what I said at the beginning, and they usually let that last sound that they just stretched be the beginning. So I want to show you the strategy we use. It's called chunking. Chunking is where you look inside of the larger unknown words and find little words that you know, or little chunks of kind of sounds, I guess. Nonsense words. We do a strategy, an assessment called nonsense word fluency, like mip and sog and blip. And we do that because if they can put those little chunks of nonsense together with other nonsense words, it's going to make a whole word. We want them to be able to recognize those kind of units, sounds put together in little units, kind of like syllables. So I've pulled one up. This is sprout, obviously. But when they come to this word in a sentence, they may not know exactly how to go about being able to figure out this word. They may do this, or and see, by the time they get to that T, they have completely forgotten what was at the beginning of this word. So what we teach them to do is go and seek out little chunks that you know. So like immediately, because out has been one of our words, out is going to be the word that stands out to me, and it should be to them because it's a little word that they know. So that word out. So then what they would do essentially is cover that up with their hands. So just kind of pretend like I've covered it up. And now they're going to go to that beginning part. And we've worked on blends in our spelling groups with Miss Patterson. And she has done the SP sounds. So that sp should be really familiar to them. And then they know the R sound. They may even be able to go ahead and put spur together. So right now we've got spur, out. Now it's easier to put that together, sprout. And that is essentially chunking. So let me show you the next. Here's a sentence. It's just something that might be in a book that they read. You see a lot of sight words that we've gone over. He and can go to the for and you. But oh, here's that unknown word. It's a word that we haven't taught. So what we do is we want them to be able to attack, decode, chunk that word. So this is how it may go when they go to read a book. He can go to the, and then they stop and they pause. A lot of kids will get their mouth ready and say, you may hear them go, eh. Now, all those sounds, they can't put it together. It just doesn't make any sense. Sorry. So they're going to have to pull in the knowledge that they have. They're going to look and go, oh, I know that little word or. So they've chunked that part. They know or. Oh, and look, there's a blend. We worked on that with Miss Patterson. So right now I have st, or. We've also focused on that that silent E at the end of a word. We also call him bossy E because he doesn't make any sound himself, but he bosses the other letters around to tell them to say their name or the long sound. So they should know that that E is not making a sound in this word, all because they took the time to chunk it. Or store. Now they're supposed to go back to the beginning of the sentence and they're going to check to see if what they have decoded and deciphered makes sense in this sentence. He can go to the store for you. That makes sense. It looks right with what is on the page. Those sounds match what. Excuse me. Here's another one. You'll see there's a couple of words in here that they don't know. They may not know plant. They may not know die, and they may not know water. So this one's going to take a little bit of time. So when they go, I don't know this word, but I am going to go and chunk. Oh, immediately I see that little word and that I know. And there's the blends that we've worked on. So right now we've got pull and plant. Go back and check. The plant is going to, I don't know this word. So I'm going to, and I'm going to go back and take my silent E that's whispering to that I to say its name. And I just know that because that's something we've worked on in the classroom. That E doesn't make a sound, but it's whispering to the I to say its name. I, die. The plant is going to die if you do not. I don't know. I see that little word at. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because this isn't water, obviously. So now they have to pull in their strategy of, does that make sense? Have I totally come up with a word that just doesn't fit? They have to think about what the sentence is saying. This is that comprehension portion of it. Does this sentence make sense? So they're thinking, okay, we're talking about plants that are dying if you do not water. Oh, water. Because they have that background knowledge. We've kind of done a little bit of with plants. We just started. So they know that plants need water to grow. So they're going to try water and go back and check and see if that fits the sentence. The plant is going to die if you do not water it. Yeah, that makes sense. Then I have one more. This one's a little bit harder. They should be able to recognize the, little, could not see the, had, cat, it, from, him. Just a little bit more words. They've got to try and think about what's going on in these sentences to make sure it makes sense. The little, okay. I don't see any words that I know in there. But one of my sight words was house. And that looks a lot like that word house that I know. Now I'm pulling in something called an analogy. We know if you know this word, then you'll know this word. So a lot of kids have had the word house, H-O-U-S-E. So what you can do to prompt them is, oh, that looks like a word that you know. That's a word that we've worked on. They may want to cover up that beginning M sound and go U-S-E. That looks like house. So if you know house, then you're going to know mouse. The little mouse could not see the ch. Oh, I don't know this word. So I'm going to attack it. I see that ch. I know when I have those two E's together, it makes that really strong E sound. Ch, E, s, eh? No, if it's at the end, it's not making a sound. It's whispering to those vowels to say their name. Ch, E's. Cheese. The little mouse could not see the cheese. The cat had, oh, that looks a lot like had, except there's a different vowel in the middle. So this isn't had. I've got to make that I sound in the middle. id, hid. The cat had hid it from him. Oh, the mouse couldn't see the cheese because the cat hid the cheese. So that's just kind of a quick little overview. That's something that I'm going to be pushing in probably about 3 of my reading groups. I've got a lot of kids that are right there on the edge of being on grade level. They just have to use this strategy instead of doing each little individual sound. I want them to start chunking little parts or little words within the larger word. That is it. Thank you for listening. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, let me know.